Surveying planets is a massive part of Starfield, especially if you're a completionist and want to get 100%. Today I'm going to give you a quick guide on how you can actually survey planets very quickly, most of them in under 10 minutes. Very quick, there's over 1,000 planets, so there's also a hell of a lot of credits to be made. Survey data can be sold, and we'll go over the best places to sell that towards the end of the video. But first off, we've got a few quick tips to help you get surveying quickly, easily, and get all of these planets under wraps and make yourself a hell of a load of XP and credits all in one. If that sounds good, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and stick around for much more Starfield content. Let's do it. The first thing you're going to want to check off your bucket list is the gas giants. Now, gas giants are very, very easy to actually scan. As you can see here, we have Hawking, and that is a gas giant. So you're just going to want to head straight over to it, set the course, travel over there, and it is really, really easy to survey these planets because all you need to do is be in the system right next to the planet, click scan, and that planet is then surveyed, and that survey data can then be sold. A great way to help with your surveys is checking out the planet itself and looking at the left-hand side. As you can see, fauna, flora. Fauna we have none out of 9, flora we have none out of 7, and then this planet also has 6 resources and 2 traits. Now, clicking on the planet itself, on the various areas, you will see you have a certain percentage. And when you're actually on the ground, you also notice whether... And then when you're on the ground, when you're actually in the process of scanning things, it will tell you that your biome has been complete. So if your biome has been complete, you'll be able to click around on the map here, and it will tell you what has been done, what hasn't been done, and what areas you need to go to. Now, as you can see there, we have a dark side and a light side, because the planet is obviously in orbit of this star. So you want to land anywhere in the day. That is the easiest way to actually scan for resources and see what's going on around. If you do land at nighttime, it is doable, but it just makes things that little bit more difficult. So I'd always recommend landing on a planet in the daytime and scanning in the day. Now, there are 4 skills that are really going to improve your scanning capabilities and make this a hell of a lot quicker. And those are the surveying, zoology, botany, and astrophysics. Now, the surveying one will increase your scanner's zoom distance, so you'll be able to zoom a hell of a lot faster and notice enemies, fauna, a lot further away. And then the zoology means you'll reduce the amount of times you need to scan animals, creatures, aliens. Same with the botany, but for flowers and flora. And then the astrophysics one. The astrophysics is something a little bit different, because you can scan different moons and planets, but you don't have to be as close to them. So here we can scan any moon or planet in the system that you're in with a 20% chance to discover the trait of that planet. And then here, 16 light years away with a 30% chance to discover the trait. And then finally, 30 light years with a 50-50 chance of discovering the trait. Now, when you're on planet, there are a few things you want to take note of and that will really help you out in scanning things very, very quickly. Most of the time, you'll be able to scan a planet in under 10 minutes. As you can see here, you've got the green light there around that thing, the broadleaf rose. That is because we've 100% scanned it. And on this one here, we have the blue leafy morning star. That's because we haven't finished that scan yet. Now, as you'll notice, this is still blue because we've just scanned it once. Now, it is quite annoying, especially when you've got a big group in the same area that you haven't scanned, because everything will still show blue. So make sure you keep note of what you have and haven't scanned. And then as you float around, if you can get up high, it will give you a hell of a lot better view, and you'll be able to scan a lot of things quicker. Especially just jumping through the sky. If you've got the right scan range, you'll be able to do things very, very quickly. Especially if you're on a low gravity planet, sort of remain 10, 15 meters up into the air, and you'll be able to scan a lot of things quite quickly. Now, another thing you'll notice are these here. Now, these are little structures or POIs. Now, the ones that are called structures you do not need to go to. That will not be a planet trait. Ones you need to look out for are this one here, which is unknown, and then this one over here, which is unknown also. But as you can see there, the signal looks a little bit different. It's sort of like a squiggly line, whereas this one here is like a dead dot. So those things could be geological ones or something a little bit different that is planet specific. You'll need to find sometimes one of these and sometimes 2, depending on what it is. But then if you go over here, as you can see there, we have another structure, and then keep going. You can see here we have the 3 triangles and the square icon. That is a cave. Now, if you look on the left, you'll see the resources. If you are missing resources, there's a good chance that they could be in a cave. So always bear that in mind. And then if you come out to your planetary menu, the planetary menu is a little bit different now, because as you can see here, we're 30% through this area, this region, and 30% through the forest over this side too. And then if we press R, it will show us our resources. But as we can see, we're 30% through, and then up top we're 33% through. So always try and go for the lowest number, because that will enable the most things that you haven't found. Sounds relative. Now, as you approach the trait areas, you'll see there it says unexplored chemistry feature. So just head on in, head a little bit around and have a look, because what you could come across is either flowers, as you can see there, unknown feature, which has then brought up the lush grove trait. So that's one of them done. And normally the ones that say sign for life, you'll occasionally find some animals dotted around here too. So always keep an eye out for that. Now, once again, if you are missing the other traits, then you want to go to the ones that look like the pinpoint, or the ones that look like the sort of wavy lines or radio frequencies. Those will also be traits, either geological or something else. Now, when it comes to enemies, they are relatively easy to scan, because you don't actually have to scan them. You can just shoot them, and that will count as a scanned enemy. All you need to do is kill around about 5 of these guys. Each enemy on each planet. Sometimes it's 6, but obviously if you've invested in the right skills, so the zoology one, that will come down a hell of a lot, and you'll be able to scan more of them. As you can see, I didn't scan any of those there. This is the first ones I've come across, and we're already at 43%. So all you need to do, what's this one? 57. A sloth. It's smiling. I am so sorry. I feel so guilty there. And now it's at 86% because we managed to kill it. So all you got to do is kill it. You don't even have to go up to them and loot anything from them. I'm just doing it for a quest there. So really easy. The only downside to the animals is normally you will come across very small animals, so little bug type ones, and they can be a pain. The best way to get those is to note the area that you saw the first one in. So if it was up in the highlands of the area that you're in, then keep searching those areas. If it was in the grass, keep searching for those grassy areas, because they can be really hard to find. They're very small. Occasionally you'll see them lurking with other enemies. So if you come across a big group of enemies, just be sure to check on the ground, because you could be coming across some of the smaller ones you've not seen before. Like these ones here. Yep, now we've scanned it, it's very obvious, but there's also one in there too. So they're really difficult to find when they're so small. And unfortunately, you don't get any XP either, which is a big shame. Now, if you're scanning a planet and you get to this point, then basically it's relatively easy. You've just got to move to a different area. As you can see, it says biome complete on the flora, resources are done, and the geological locations or traits are finished also. And then, as we can see on fauna, I'm at 4 out of 9, but the region is not complete. That is because I've spotted an enemy, but I've only seen one of them and scanned that one. After running around for a few minutes and grabbing the rest of them, I still haven't come across that enemy. So the best thing you can do in that scenario is just simply move to a different area. Because 9 times out of 10, you will find a different enemy, the same enemy, sorry, in a different biome. But as we can see now, where I am is at 60%, down here is at 75%. Down here is at 90. So ocean is 0 because, well, you can't land in the ocean. Quite obvious, really. And then down here, which is the forest. Once again, we're over here at volcanic. And then up top at the forest there. So if you just move over to the frozen dunes, because that is the lowest percentage. Always try and go for the lowest percent area. That way, that will enable you to find things a hell of a lot quicker. Now, let's say you've hit a little bit of a problem. All of your locations are 100%, but as you can see, we've got fauna, which is 8 out of 9. Everything else is finished. But when you click on everything on the planet, everything is already 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. So you're a little bit screwed. What you want to do is find somewhere that says coast. If you can get somewhere on the coastline, then drop down. As soon as you land, you need to try and find water. Now, this does not happen very often. I've had this happen on 2 planets so far. So, you need to find water. So, if you can find the ocean, this will make things very easy. There it is, just over there. And then just head... So, as you can see here, they can be quite hard to spot, but you do have to get relatively close to the water. And you're going to need something big and powerful. Can be a right pain as well to shoot through the water, so you do have to be careful. But the best way to notice these guys is obviously with your scanner on. Once again, if you did not know, or you missed that part, you can scan enemies by shooting them. So that does help quite a bit, especially in these water situations. And there we go, that is a planet surveyed. Now I'm going to show you where you can go to get the most amount of money for that survey data. You do get a lot of survey data, which is worth quite a bit of money. Considering how many planets there are, you will make a shite ton of cash through survey data alone. But as you can see here, we've got one survey data there, which is worth 9,000, and then another one, which is worth 4,500. The Hawking 1A survey data is for a planet that you've been on, actually looked around and surveyed. That is why it's worth 9. And then the one that's worth 4,500 are gas giants that you've just surveyed from afar. Now I'm going to show you exactly where you can get rid of these. One of the best places that you can come to sell the survey data is to Alpha Centauri. If you head in here, speak to Vladimir at the Eye. Now that is a planet right next to Jemison, and Vladimir is this guy here. It is worth noting though that if you have done New Game Plus and you are skipping the main quest, you cannot sell survey data to him. So if you are on a New Game Plus and you're going through the normal quest, then you can, and you've joined the Constellation, all of that stuff. But once again, if you're just skipping, grabbing artifacts, you cannot do it during that playthrough. Now, if you don't want to sell to Vlad, or you've not actually got them unlocked yet, you can sell to the Trade Authority. Now, the Trade Authorities can be found in the Wolf system, they can be found in Alpha Centauri, they can be found on Mars. These guys are pretty much everywhere. They are the vendors that will also buy stolen and contraband merchandise. But Vladimir does give you the best price for all of these items, whereas the Trade Authority does knock off a few thousand. So you're looking at only around about 1,000 from Trade Authority, and then almost 2 from Vlad. But once again, he is capped with the amount he's got. So if you are at the Eye, you can go and sit down for a few days and wait. That's if you're doing a big bunch all at the same time. For now, though, we're going to wrap that one up there. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for much more Starfield content. I've been Cowboy, you've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.